So before we jump into this week's episode, I just have to ask you a question. How valuable would it be to have direct access to some of my past guests to learn exactly how they executed certain strategies to grow their business? And I believe it would be extremely helpful to your entrepreneurial journey. And as someone who has had access to these founders, I can tell you firsthand, guys, it's super helpful. And I want to make it available to you. In fact, that is the experience and knowledge sharing that's delivered to each person every quarter when they become a Grindology member. Now, Grindology is an entrepreneurial subscription box, and it ships every quarter full of resources to help fuel your grind and your hustle. So what's included in the Grindology shipment? Well, first and foremost, every single Grindology shipment will include a copy of the Grindology Tactical Manual. Every single issue of Grindology will be chock full of real tactics from real business builders, not journalists. And within the pages of the Grindology Tactical Manual, they will be delivering to you the tactics and strategies that you can integrate into your business immediately. How great would it be to receive real Facebook ad strategies from those who are doing it successfully? It would be super helpful. And those are the types of tactics that will be found in each issue of Grindology. And like I said, it's real tactics from real business builders. And in addition to the Grindology Tactical Manual, each shipment delivers 2 bags of uniquely crafted coffee specifically roasted for you, the founder, the hustler, the entrepreneur, the maker, and creator. Each shipment also includes an exclusive mug that speaks to your unique nature that is you, the entrepreneur. Everything about Grindology is about helping to fuel your grind. And in fact, that is exactly why our friends at Design Pickle have partnered with us for our first box. Yep, the homies at Design Pickle are hooking up one lucky subscriber with a full year of unlimited graphic design services. Guys, that is a $12,000 prize. Like I said earlier, everything that we do is to help you with your entrepreneurial journey. So make sure that you visit grindology.com to learn more. Our Q1 box and the chance to win the Design Pickle package valued at close to $12,000 is an exclusive shipment. So make sure that you secure your box today at grindology.com. I'll make sure to include a link to grindology.com in the show notes and within the description of this episode. Guys, I don't know if I've ever been more excited to tell you about a sponsor. It's called Children's Business Fair. And let me ask you a question. Is the classroom the best way to teach your kids about money and business? Well, of course it's not. And real learning comes from doing. Welcome to Children's Business Fair. It's a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. You'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's really a great way to bring your neighborhood to life. Launching a Children's Business Fair is super easy, and it's free. And guess what? They'll even throw in $500 of prize money. Just go find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org to get a children's business fair in your area today. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Financially Free Journey podcast. And as you all know, I'm your host, Courtney Dyer. And this week we are bringing back another very special guest, and we're switching it up from financial professionals and advisors to someone who has been so successful with business and a component of your business that really drives overall success when it comes to Facebook ads and marketing and online presence. So excited to welcome Chase Chappell on the show. Chase, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you, Courtney. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm excited too. And the fact that we were able to get this booked so quickly and put this together, because I know you're such a busy guy being the CEO of your company, and you guys have a lot going on. So I wanted to just start out by you giving the listeners just a brief introduction of yourself and your business so they know who you are.
Yeah, our agency manages over 10 million in ad spend across Facebook and Google. And I also advise on over 180 million in spend across the Facebook products. We do a lot of consultations. We do a lot of management of, all of the ad spend for our clients across Facebook. So that's really what, our main business is. We also train individuals on how to use, the platforms and actually do it for themselves. We train marketing teams. So, we're really involved on the day-to-day there.
I'm so fascinated because marketing and specifically Facebook ads is a huge part of if your business can become successful and make it past that zone where, like, the first 2 years, not even 2 years, but within the first year, a lot of businesses don't make it off the ground. And having a lack thereof of a marketing strategy can really attribute to that. And a lot of the listeners, a huge portion of them, of course, are interested in becoming financially free and building wealth, but a lot of them are doing it by having their own business. And so I know that this is something that is top of mind for a lot of the listeners right now. Thousands and thousands of them are probably, their ears are peaked, like, tell me more about Facebook ads. Before we get into the semantics of your business and your expert advice, why marketing? What got you started in this industry specifically?
Yeah, I started a page where it was just a lifestyle page back before, influencers were truly a thing, before like personal brands were really a reality on social media. I was doing it
Right?
for just like a normal page, luxury based. And I ended up growing that page pretty significantly. And a luxury pool builder reaches out to me and says, "Hey, Chase, I want you to manage our pages and, run ads for us." And I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never even helped a business. I was only doing it for a page I had. And so I automatically agreed. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And, I ended up helping him set up his pages. And what we did was we started running Facebook ads for this luxury pool builder. And this is the type of client that builds luxury pools in terms of like lazy rivers in your backyard. This isn't like your standard
Ooh,
luxury. This is like really,
I want one of those,
yeah.
especially during COVID. I want a lazy pool in my backyard. Okay, I digress. Sounds like a really good
Absolutely.
contact to have. Okay.
Yeah. And so we fast forward. And so we're running ads and we ended up booking him out an entire year worth of business. And I received a phone call one day and he says, "Hey, Chase, I need you to stop the ads. We got to pause services." And this is the first time, my first and ever client, I was already losing. And I was like, I don't understand. You're getting a lot of business and you're wanting to stop services. Why don't we just scale? Why don't we expand? He's like, "Look, Chase, in my business, nobody, books a pool to be built in their backyard 2 years out. It just doesn't happen. It's never happened in our industry. It's not going to happen. So we need a pause." And I was like, "Well, have you ever tried?" And he's like, "No, because nobody does that." And so I reach out again. I'm like, "Look, here's what we need to do. What if we set up a scheduler? We actually plan these things out to where we can get people to book out an entire next year. We don't pause services and you just let me try this." We book out 2 years worth of pools for this guy. He was so, it was so unbelievable that we literally had people coming in and saying, "Hey, I actually want to get a lazy river, get this extravagant pool built in my backyard 2 years from now." Most of these
Wow.
people don't even like have, most of these people have multiple homes. So a lot of them don't even plan to stay in one place, but they were still booking it. And so I received a phone call and he's like, "Look, Chase, we did this again. I'm retiring this time and I'm going hunting. You've done so much for us. We have to pause this time."
You
Um,
retired him. Okay, you retired him, okay, because you started booking pools 2 years out. Look at what you
yeah.
did.
So
Jeez.
yeah, so I lost that business. It was a good reason for the loss, but I was too good for my own self. So I ended up using that as a case study. It was a really good case study, which allowed me to land multiple clients. And from there on, we've been building every year, and things have really been accelerating, and momentum grows over time. So things are going outstanding where we are now.
So it sounds like when you started with this pool, luxury pool builder, which I still want, I
Yes.
really want that. It sounds like you did a phenomenal job building that value proposition within the ad campaign and having a really strong strategy that stuck out and was successful. And I know a lot
Yes.
of small businesses, and I personally, in several ventures that I've done, have launched into Facebook ads full force because that's the way to go, right? You dump your money into Facebook ads and it goes across Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to make tons of money. But you end up seeing that you're losing, you're not seeing the conversions. And so, tell me a little bit about your training programs, because that's what your business is built on, is helping small business owners identify and understand how to successfully launch a Facebook ad campaign, right? So
Yeah.
walk us through that a little bit.
Absolutely. So what we do is everything we do is based on data. There's no opinions about it. We're not going to, give you our own suggestions, say, "Hey, this color looks better than this one because we say so." It's not like that. It's really all based on numbers and data. We're analyzing, data on a daily basis. We have, hundreds of ad accounts we have access to. So we're compiling these numbers, doing the research, getting the analytics, and making sense of all these things. And a lot of times business owners, will say, hey, I might know who my customer is. Here's what they like, or here's the things, and they'll put the ad together, but they don't really know what the metrics are telling them when they're getting the results. They don't understand, is it the ad creative that's not performing well? Is it the copy that's not performing well? Did they choose the wrong audience? Are they not spending enough? We make sense of all those numbers in our actual class. We break those down so that way they can understand their own situation, so that way they can better manage their actual campaigns. And so, we really show them all those things.
Well, and what I love, what it sounds like too with your training program, it's not about your clients, your small business owners, people listening to this show, having to continue to rely on your expertise. You're really training them to take the reins and become an expert within their own ad campaign. So really, again, being too good for your own self, you're kind of getting yourself out of business by teaching them how to do it, right? So
yeah, most of the people
it's
who
good and
join,
bad.
yeah, most of the people who join will sell out their stock. Most of the people who end up joining will attend no more than 6 calls because their business has grown. So they're having to focus on that side. We offer a full year of calls where like people can join those. We walk them through things, help them, scale and so forth. And a lot of times people will do that in the beginning, and then they're just getting a ton of results that they literally just can't, they don't have any time to focus on it. They have to hire somebody now, or things are, breaking in their business that they got to start working on. I mean, they'll
Well,
usually
that's
come
a good
back,
place to be in.
yeah, no, it's a great spot, but it's things they have to learn how to handle as they do grow, and they'll come back later on in the year and rejoin the calls once things are, they've scaled up and have more capacity to grow, additionally.
Well, it sounds like it's such a successful program. And I know that I was going through prior to us recording this episode and taking a look at your program. And it sounds like you've had some phenomenal results and reviews from clients. And I just want to reiterate to those of you listening that if you are launching a small business, and the majority of small businesses that are launched are not brick and mortar these days. I mean, it has been redefined and reimagined with the age of technology that we're in. Small business can be opened from anywhere with little to no capital. But one of the things that you really need to invest in is marketing. Talk to us a little bit about, have you seen people launch what could be a successful business, but because of their lack of marketing or planning with ads, that they weren't able to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, if you start a business and like people don't know about you, I mean, it's really not going to go very far. I mean, you kind of have to do some promotion to get it out there. I mean, you can do stuff organically, get some reach there, but I mean, like at the end of the day, like you need something that's going to be a little bit more consistent, and like paying to do so on the actual ad spend through Facebook or other social media platforms is going to be the way to actually, consistently have an avenue that's producing, so realistically, like starting with ads, it can be as low as $5 a day. I mean, it's no more than a Starbucks coffee for most people, and that's what people are already spending. So I mean, like if you're willing to, add in no more than what it costs to buy coffee, then you could literally get started with ads and start running those. And that's a good entry point for most people, because it makes sense for them to actually learn from the data, and like, spending that, they're already doing it anyways. So you might as well just be able to actually look at the numbers, see what's working, and then actually before you start to scale, see if you get results and then decide. That way you don't, end up going in there, dropping a couple $1,000s over a couple of days and losing it and not really knowing what happened.
Well, I can attest to that because with a previous business venture that I did, I was like, I'm going to go full force. I created a budget for my ad campaign. I'm like, I'm good. This thing is going to launch. I'm going to make millions, baby. And I dumped a ton of money into my Facebook ads. And I'll tell you what, I did not get the return. I'm like, what is all the hype with Facebook ads? Like nothing is coming from here. But when you go in and you look at the analytics, it can become extremely overwhelming. And if you're not having somebody walk you through what each of those, graphs mean and each of the metrics, it can be intimidating. And there's a lot of misinformation online, right? And in this day and age as well, a lot of people are like, we can learn anything from YouTube. Well, yes. you can learn a lot, but there's some things that you just have to dig in with a professional. So what's one of the biggest misconceptions that you've come across or heard from your clients when it comes to advertising on social media?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. And I don't know where this information comes from because I can't figure out who the source of it is. But, people will be like, hey, go do link click campaigns, or, oh, do video view campaigns. Nobody's talking about like, just going direct for conversion. It's like, if you're a small business and launching your business and you're investing your own money or somebody's money, the bottom line at the end of the day is going to be, you're going to have to be generating sales to actually, cover what you're putting into the business. I mean, every business has to survive at some point. So, 9 times out of 10, your goal is probably going to be financially related. It's going to be, cash intensive. So you're going to need to make some of that money back. That's
Absolutely.
just how you're going to run a business. You have to do it. So all these people are saying like, oh, you need to do awareness. Oh, you need to do engagements and stuff like that. It really doesn't make sense for the small business because, really you need to just go direct to conversion, start getting people, get your valuable product out there or your valuable service. So that way people can actually, purchase or, work with you with what you have. That way you can start making money immediately. And that's like a purchase conversion campaign. So, a big misconception is definitely not going direct to conversions right away. A lot of people think that they have to build up this, higher funnel thing. And it doesn't really make sense to do early on. That's something you can develop later on in your business when you actually have cash flow and things are working. Large businesses, big corporations and Fortune 100 companies, they have cash reserves where they'll do these big awareness campaigns. They'll launch stuff on TV, they'll spend millions of dollars on ads that have, they're not really focused on ROI because they have the cash to, actually invest and then wait months and all the way until the end of the year to start seeing those returns come back. They have the time. But for, the average business owner, it doesn't make sense to do that.
Let's take a moment to talk about this episode's sponsor, Smile Brilliant. Now, do you grind your teeth when you sleep? If so, you're among 40 million other Americans who also grind their teeth. And whether it's stress, anxiety, or an abnormal bite, chronic teeth grinding can lead to worn enamel, tooth decay, sleeplessness, and expensive dental procedures. The number one teeth grinding prevention recommended by dentists is the custom fitted night guard. But it's costly, with an average dentist charging $200 to $300 per guard, and you're going to grind through several of those in a year. Using Smile Brilliant's Lab Direct process, you can get the same custom fitted night guards, but for as little as $45 per guard. Also, Smile Brilliant has custom fitted teeth whitening trays, which is amazing, and the Carry Pro electric toothbrush. So make sure that you head over to www.smilebrilliant.com and use the code JOURNEY at checkout, and you're going to get 30% off. Once again, that's www.smilebrilliant.com and use the code JOURNEY at checkout for 30% off. I'll make sure to link the website down in the show notes and in the show description. So that's a huge takeaway, guys, is to go straight for conversions when it comes to your ad campaign for your small business. And I think that's because I personally, again, I mean, it's like I'm putting myself out there here, Chase, but I was like, I'm going to go for likes on the post or for followers on the page, right? Because there are so many options. It's like, well, which one makes sense? It's hard because there's a lot to muddle through. And so take it from a
Absolutely.
professional, guys, straight for conversions, link it to your website or your product or whatever it is that you're trying to sell, right?
Yes. Yeah. You definitely want to go direct to the product page. If that's what, you're promoting a specific product. If you're going, promoting a service, go directly to a form, something to submit so you can get their information right away. It's the quickest path to them actually getting what they want. And there's less friction, which Facebook rewards you for. And if you're showing your product or service directly in your creative, you're going to get better results because Facebook also rewards the fact that, it's actually more focused on what you're offering. And that's a big portion of the algorithm is the offer.
So, with the creative, the visual effect, do you have any tips or tricks that you can share with the listeners
Yeah.
when they're thinking about starting their own ad campaign? Because again, there's a lot of stuff like include text, don't include text, make it a carousel, don't make it a carousel. So, anything you'd like to share with the listeners?
Absolutely. Yeah. These days, text is fine because Facebook no longer requires you to have a certain percentage of text. They're actually comfortable with you actually putting in text now because they see the fact that they do get better conversions in most cases. So, certainly with a creative, the first thing you want to do is if you're offering a product or selling something, it needs to be the direct focus in the actual creative. If it's an image, it needs to be front and center. So that way, as soon as somebody scrolls past it in the feed or sees it in their feed, they know immediately what it is that you're selling. Have you ever seen like on Amazon, like any Amazon ads or anything on Amazon where you'll get an ad served to you and it's just a white background and it's just the essential product right there and there's like a carousel of all these basic images? Super simple. They're just taking it from the product page, and those things work. And that's Amazon makes up about 51% of the internet, and they're a huge conversion generator. And they've pretty much gotten that thing down to a science. And if it's working for them, you'll also see it work for you. So yes, carousels do make sense to do, and you can keep it really basic. You don't need some fancy creative team early days to be spending high amounts of money on video production. It just doesn't make sense. You can launch very quickly with very simple content, see it convert because it is very direct, and then you can start to invest in creative once you actually have the capital.
Let's take a moment to talk about this episode's sponsor, Smile Brilliant. Now, do you grind your teeth when you sleep? If so, you're among 40 million other Americans who also grind their teeth. And whether it's stress, anxiety, or an abnormal bite, chronic teeth grinding can lead to worn enamel, tooth decay, sleeplessness, and expensive dental procedures. The number one teeth grinding prevention recommended by dentists is the custom fitted night guard, but it's costly, with an average dentist charging $200 to $300 per guard, and you're going to grind through several of those in a year. Using Smile Brilliant's Lab Direct process, you can get the same custom fitted night guards, but for as little as $45 per guard. Also, Smile Brilliant has custom fitted teeth whitening trays, which is amazing, and the Carry Pro electric toothbrush. So make sure that you head over to www.smilebrilliant.com and use the code JOURNEY at checkout, and you're going to get 30% off. Once again, that's www.smilebrilliant.com and use the code JOURNEY at checkout for 30% off. I'll make sure to link the website down in the show notes and in the show description. Do you know an extraordinary child, a budding superstar who is ready to take on the world and who loves to have fun? If so, he or she deserves a chance to shine at a children's business fair, a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. Now, you'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's such a great way to bring neighbors together amid sunshine and laughter. Now, at a children's business fair, children will make something with their own hands, they'll sell it, safely of course, to a stranger, and experience the freedom and responsibility of having a little extra spending money as a reward. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply and as little as 3 hours to plan a fair. Just set up a few tables on a lawn and send a few emails to friends and family. You can host a fair for free, and we'll even chip in $500 as prize money. Sounds too simple? Well, join parents who want to equip and inspire their children to shine in the real world. Start your audition to host a children's business fair in your community, or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org. What performs better, video or still image?
Yeah, so a lot of people here listening, I'm sure, are probably going to say that they have videos working really well and they're happy with their video content. It's true. Video does work for a lot of people. But when we look across hundreds of ad accounts and tens of millions in advertising spend, it's overwhelmingly images that are converting better. And it's primarily due to the fact that they're more consistent and it's less competitive. Once again, there's a bunch of people out here in the space pushing, video to everybody, saying, hey, video, do video. And now everybody's doing video, and there's so much competition and there's so many limited placements that you're paying a lot of money just to get your video out there. And just to actually get people understand what it is that you're promoting, you have to have a really good, content creator who knows how to edit and make things fast. And if you don't know how to do that, you're already wasting money on spending it on video to begin with. Images are a little less memorable, so you can get away and fly under the radar in terms of actually showing that content a lot more. Whereas like with a video, you can actually overwhelm your audience or exhaust them just due to the fact that if they don't convert today, tomorrow, or the next day, the fourth time they see that video, they're ready to convert. They're already going to be tired of seeing that one over and over again. So
it sounds like conversion of video might be harder to achieve at this point because there's such a diluted market. Everybody's, especially with the big move with like TikTok, right? You see a lot of people putting out more video content than ever before. And so it seems like going back to the basics is kind of the key here.
Yeah. And video works well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't do video. People convert with video really well if they know how to deliver the message, show the product within the first 3 seconds, have very quick jump cuts, which are essentially clips of videos that are moving at a very high pace, and tell the story extremely well and ask for the, person to purchase, whether it's like order today, order now, with some urgency towards the end of it. That does work, but it requires somebody who really knows what they're doing to create that type of content. And if you get it to work, the problem is now you have to get a lot more.
Now let's take a moment to thank this episode's sponsor, Real Paper. Now, Real Paper is a tree-free toilet paper. It's made from 100% bamboo. It's plastic-free, 0% plastic. Even the packing tape is made from paper. And you've got home delivery options, so it's conveniently delivered right to your doorstep. And you're never going to run out of toilet paper again because you can choose how often you want to have it delivered. And get this, every roll purchased helps fund access to clean toilets for people that are in need. And Real is delivered with free shipping. It's just the cherry on top. Now, I'm very excited for this. We have a coupon code for 25% off. It's financially free, and you're going to get that off of your first subscription order at realpaper.com. That's REEL paper.com. I will link the website in my show notes, and I'll make sure to put in that coupon code financially free so you can get 25% off. An important part of the journey to financial freedom is keeping your habits and your lifestyle in check. And as we all know, routines are a vital piece of the puzzle, but most of us find it difficult to create and stick to routines, whether it's in the morning, evening, or even just throughout the day. Well, today's sponsor is an app called Bookstop, and it helps with just that. Now, what's with the name Bookstop, you might ask? Well, your morning and your evening routines are often referred to as the book stops that hold your day together, like two book stops propping up the books on a shelf. Now, this app was created by a young man named Charlie, who's from New Zealand, and he has ADHD. Well, Bookstop allows you to create a list of tasks for you to complete different routines. Then when you're ready, you hit start and you proceed through each task one by one with a stopwatch running on the screen. Now, thanks to the stopwatch, you get a time score when you complete a routine. And that means that each day you can try to improve your score, getting through your tasks and your routines quicker and quicker, which I find phenomenal. Now, Charlie came up with this idea after reading a neuroscience and behavioral psychology study that shows the benefits of using self-competitiveness to release dopamine in the brain, which is a key ingredient in locking in and sticking to healthy new behaviors. And this makes Bookstop different from other apps and methods you might have tried in the past. And so far, the results are extremely promising. So if you think you can benefit from some help with locking in a healthy new routine, or you simply want to optimize your mornings and your evenings, then go to www.getbookstop.com and sign up for the app. Charlie is hoping to find 100 new people to help test the app and give feedback on it so he can improve it before launching it to the world. And get this, if you sign up on the website today, you'll lock in premium access to the app free for life as a thank you for being a beta tester and a listener to the podcast. So make sure that you go to www.getbookstop.com and sign up for the app today.
Maybe, it was time for dinner and they had to switch focus. Stuff like that happens. I mean, it's human behavior. Those things will happen. So you need to be able to retarget those individuals to say, hey, here's another opportunity. You might have been busy. Here's the chance now. You might not be busy now. So here's the way you can purchase. And a lot of times you'll see a lot more conversions come through that way. Other times it's price related. It could be that your product might be too expensive and they were treating it like a wish list item. There's a lot of people out there that treat the add to cart button like a wish list. It's kind of weird. But they're wishes and dreamers, and there's nothing wrong with that. The thing is, it's all price related because most of them financially won't commit to making a purchase. So with the retargeting, you can start to do things for those types of individuals by offering them a discount. Hey, we're doing free shipping, plus we're giving you 10 to 20% off. That'll help convert, a portion of that audience. And then there's other things like sending people directly to cart. That'll help lift your conversions too, because if they already added a cart, why send them back to the page where they did that? Just send them to the cart. So that way they have one less button to click, which also helps. So there's things you can do there. So there's certainly two main focuses you should have. Outside of that, technically, you can have different campaigns based on how you want to organize your data. But realistically, the main focus should be new customers plus, retargeting the ones that come and convert that haven't, and then also retargeting people who have already purchased and you want to sell them something again.
I love that you mentioned retargeting because that's it. And again, I'm not an expert like you, but that seems like it's an area of opportunity for a lot of small business owners to be able to launch retargeting campaigns, because those are clients, potential clients that have expressed interest. They've added your product to cart, they've gone to checkout, whatever part of the funnel they're in for your business, right? And you
Yes.
determine that through your retargeting campaign, wherever they're at on your website. But these are people that explicitly have said, yeah, I'm interested in what you have to say or what you have to sell. And so that's a big area of opportunity to be able to have a high conversion to dollars in your pocket. So I love that you mentioned acquisition of new customers and then retargeting the ones that were like, they're like 99% there, right? Like we just got to have you click that checkout button. So what, in your experience, because not only are you an expert in marketing and Facebook ad campaigns, but you are wildly successful in operating your own business. And that's something that I want to touch on is what is the single most important piece of advice that you've ever received when it comes to growing your business? And then what's the worst piece of advice that you
Hmm.
ever received?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, so I mean, I'm a 5 times founder. There's 5 different companies we operate. All of them are, growing substantially year over year, which is super phenomenal. And it's all, purely team related. 100%, it's team involvement, team leaders, and stuff like that. The single handedly the most important thing for us that I've really learned is one, uh, not hiring people to manage them, hiring, individuals that can actually be team builders, people who will come on and be able to grow with the actual business and make a lot of money with you, and also be able to manage their own team. The only way you're going to get to a $10 million company is not by managing a ton of people on your own. You got to think about like people like Elon Musk, in these large businesses who have a lot of companies that manage, and oversee a huge amount of people, like 300,000 people at Amazon. I mean, you got to think this guy's not micromanaging all these people. It doesn't happen. It's not realistic. It comes down to having at least 5 to 10 direct reports of people who are team building, who can actually lead different departments within your company. You're going to expand 10 times faster. And as long as you're really employing people to empowering them and giving them a voice to actually lead within the company, they're going to do 10 times more because you're allowing them to use their actual smarts to grow. And you'll see people perform 10 times better than just trying to stay on top of them. It's ridiculous with how involved a lot of people are in those early stages. I would say, really allow people to grow in their own position and, set guardrails for certain, positions and stuff like that. But realistically, bringing on people who can not only lead a team, but build their own and grow that way is going to be super empowering.
So people, and bringing in people that can free up your time to focus on what you're good at, right? I mean, I think that's a mistake that a lot of small business owners make is like, well, I don't have a lot of capital. So yeah, I'll be my own marketing director. I'll build my own website. They want to figure out every facet because they don't have the capital to outsource it. But then it takes away your ability to really focus on the passion and what you're good at. So bringing on good people that'll help your company grow and allow you to focus on what you're passionate about and what you're an expert at, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, to expand your business, you're going to have people who know what they're doing, and you have to be able to be willing to make a financial commitment to them. Early on, it made sense to us that we need to, one, price out our competitors by offering more opportunities compensation wise for people to make money and grow with us. And so that way they can actually, grow within the company. And that is one of those things that you can't just end up bringing on somebody and not pay them a lot. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there right now and people will leave. I mean, it's just normal. And honestly, if you're wanting to go that route, it makes more sense just to look overseas if you're going to do something like that. But here in the States, it really does make sense to, pay well and pay nicely. So that way people don't have to worry about the financial side and can actually just focus on, their role and wanting to actually help you on that, your side of the business.
I love that. What a great piece of advice because you have grown a wildly successful company yourself. So, as an entrepreneur listening or someone who wants to launch a business, but you haven't taken that leap of faith, that's something to really build into your plan, your business plan, and what to expect is really bringing in the right people who want to help you grow the business from the ground up. That sounds okay. Now I want to ask you what's the worst piece of advice, or maybe even the biggest misconception you had when it came to starting your own business?
Yeah, I don't know if I've received necessarily a worse piece of advice. The biggest misconception I had early on was certainly thinking that one, things would work out over time if I just would let them. But some cases it does make sense where you have to intervene and say, "Hey, this isn't working. You need to stop doing this." So I let things run a little too long in some cases, like bringing on somebody who isn't the right fit and, trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, giving them too many opportunities, trying to help them. And then, at the end of the day, just realizing this person actually is not the right fit. They're not good for the culture. And so making a decision to cut people off the, actual team. And so, I forget what the saying is, but it's like, hire fat, or it's like hire slow, fire fast.
Right.
So spend the process on doing the due diligence beforehand. And we implemented such a long review process. Like we will literally go through 3 people on our team before somebody makes it through. We will actually, interview with the full team. We'll end up doing an actual strategy meeting where we're testing them on their knowledge in an actual situation with a real, actual client account, seeing what they would do, and then asking them questions that we already know the answers to see what they would say. And then asking them questions we definitely already know, or like, this would never happen, and seeing if they would say, this isn't normal or something like that, just to see if they would BS us. And we filter people out so quickly that way. And so we're able to get it down that we finally figured out a way that, we can call people on their BS, we can call people on their knowledge, and then we can also find out if they're actually here for culture and are willing to grow.
Oh, I bet a lot of people are sweating bullets. It's like PTSD back to an interview where someone's like, sell me this stapler, right? I mean, we've all had an interview where it's like, I did not expect that. But from the business owner standpoint, you have to vet your people. You have to know. And like you said, hire slow, fire fast. So really do your due diligence, make sure they're a good fit, not just with their expertise and their knowledge, but within the culture of your company, because that can also be detrimental.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've literally had people on interviews tell us it was the most intense thing they're going through. They're like, sorry, can you just give me a minute? Like, I've never had only 15 minutes to answer this. So
You're like, well, that I'm doing a good job then, right? If it is something that's intense, because you want to make sure this is your baby, this is your business. So I love that as a takeaway for the listeners is to hire slow and fire fast. So that is fantastic. Okay. So let's get into a little bit more detail about your training program. What all does it entail? What should someone expect if they were
yes.
to go into your program?
Yeah. So the good thing is what we end up offering is I actually will do the coaching on the call. So it's group coaching and people will end up joining in. They get access to our class, which essentially has a bunch of trainings. There's over 100 different video trainings in there that people will access, which are recordings of us going through ad accounts with, so many different people in so many different industries. I mean, I'm literally not kidding. We're in every industry as long as it's not explicit. And, we're able to go through in each account. And the reason we're able to do that is because it is based on data. So we're able to look at numbers no matter what vertical you're in and actually make sense of what's working and what's not. And so in those trainings, they'll learn how to do the analysis. They'll learn what actually makes, for a good piece of content to actually launch, how to scale effectively. And then we have the guidance on the calls 2 times weekly. People will actually be able to join the calls and we'll be able to walk them through their ad account and make sense of, hey, here's what's happening here. Here's what you need to do. We guide them through that process. A lot will come in. There's a lot wrong. It's usually like a crime scene in most people's ad accounts because either A, they've been burned by 3 different agencies or 2 different coaches. And a lot of times people join is because we're so transparent that they're able to fully vet us out before they even join. They're like 9 times out of 10, it's like they've seen everything that we do and they're already convinced prior. So, we actually show them those things. We get them the results they need. And then thereafter, it's like once they're scaling and growing, most of them really don't join the calls thereafter because there's not really a reason to. We're not dragging them along. It's not like all, in the air. It's very direct and it's straightforward. It's very quick advice and very applicable. So people get what they need and, take action on it. And so
I love that because I've had that experience where it's like, well, if you attend weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, then you're going to get all the information you need, right? It really drags it out. And as a business owner and you're running all over the place, you may not have time for that, or you may be impatient, right? So
absolutely.
I love that it's very direct and it gives them the tools and the resources they need to go out and implement and be successful.
Oh, no, without a doubt. I mean, right now I see even on like Clubhouse, like people are like doing rooms and what's happening is like these people will like have the panels and it's really just a discussion and it's so high level that there's almost, it's super interesting and it's really engaging because it's all about stories and everything. And it's really smart how they're structuring these things. But the applicable advice there is there's nothing tactical. There's nothing actionable you can really take from it other than just hearing what these people, are telling you through an old story or something that is engaging. But the problem is it's so hard to apply something that they're talking about with what you're currently doing. So it's really interesting to see a lot of those things happening out there. So I always, we're always focused on the direct stuff. And that's really what moves the bar for us because, for businesses, you have to move the bottom line so that way you can continue to grow.
So you guys are going to help them move the bottom line. I love that because again, like you said, if you've ever had that experience or you're trying to learn it all on YouTube, you're getting this really high level overview, but how can you actually take it, open up your, ad campaign and apply what you're learning? And it sounds like you guys are teaching all of that tactical information, the semantics of running the campaigns, understanding the data and being able to translate it into actual revenue for your business, which is what we need. Okay, guys, I am so excited about this because not only did Chase agree to come onto the podcast and give us his insights, but he also agreed to give you guys a special promotion for being a listener to the show. For it's 10% off of the program, which is phenomenal to be able to get a discount on something that gives so much value to the bottom line and your bank account, your ads, your marketing. So that's so nice and amazing. And the code is FF10. And I'm going to link down below where you would go exactly. But what's the website? So just for the people listening right now.
Yeah. So the website's just my name. It's Chase Chappell and it's CHAPPELL for Chappell. And, if you type that in online, it'll pull up our site. And then, it's the Facebook Ads Expert Mastery Program that you can get access to. And, you enter that code FF10 and you'll be able to get access.
I love it, guys. If you have launched a small business or you're thinking about it, which is a lot of people listening to this show, Facebook ads and your marketing strategy is arguably the most important part of being able to generate success in your small business. And so being able to have an opportunity to have someone who is a professional and someone who has really walked the road and successfully launched a business himself, what a great opportunity. So make sure that you go to the website. And again, the code is FF10 for 10% off of the training. So thank you so much, Chase, for coming on. Do you have any last piece of advice or wisdom that you would like to leave with the listeners?
Honestly, I'll keep it really simple. It's just about starting. There's really you don't have to make it super complicated early on. It's just a matter of placing that first, $5 daily and then looking at your numbers and starting to see what's happening. And from there forward, if it works, you can then, start to increase it. If not, at least you didn't lose a lot of money.
Right. It's just about starting. It's about taking the first step and not getting stuck in that analysis paralysis, which I think a lot of people do when they're trying to really launch their business because it's their passion, it's their idea, right? So just getting started, starting small, starting simple, and really enlisting experts and training is something that is going to make a huge difference in the end when it comes to the success of your business. So Chase, thank you again for joining the show today. And as always, guys, if you're not following us already, it's at Financially Free Journey on Instagram. I post daily tips and motivation, as you all know, to help you with your financially free journey when it comes to your personal finances and starting your small business. So until next time.